Hey everyone, welcome back. Give me 20 minutes. I'll erase your weakness, Nietzsche. Friedrich Nietzsche once said that what does not destroy me makes me stronger. But here's what most people don't understand about this quote. Your weakness isn't your enemy. Your weakness is your uncarved masterpiece. I'm going to show you exactly how Nietzsche's revolutionary philosophy can transform your biggest weaknesses into your greatest strengths. We're going to dive deep into the mind of one of history's most provocative thinkers and extract the practical wisdom that will change how you see yourself forever. But first, let me ask you something. What if I told you that every successful person you admire once stood exactly where you are now, feeling weak, uncertain, maybe even defeated? The difference isn't talent, luck, or circumstances. It's understanding what Nietzsche knew about human nature that most people never discover. If you're ready to turn your weakness into your weapon, hit that subscribe button right now, because this video is going to challenge everything you think you know about personal growth. And trust me, you'll want to come back to this information again and again. Chapter 1. The Nietzsche Nobody Knows. Before we dive into the transformation, we need to understand who Nietzsche really was. Because the man who wrote God is Dead wasn't trying to destroy your faith. He was trying to save your strength. Picture this. It's 1882. A 38-year-old German philosopher sits alone in his small room, nearly blind, suffering from constant migraines that would make most people curl up and quit. This man has been rejected by academia, misunderstood by his peers, and is slowly losing his mind to what we now know was likely a brain tumor. But instead of surrendering to his weakness, Friedrich Nietzsche did something extraordinary. He turned his suffering into his philosophy, his isolation into his strength, his rejection into his rebellion against mediocrity. Now, I want you to think about your own struggles right now. What's the thing that's been holding you back? What's that voice in your head that says, I'm not good enough? I'm too weak. I can't do this? Maybe it's social anxiety that stops you from speaking up in meetings. Maybe it's fear of failure that keeps you from starting that business. Maybe it's past trauma that makes you feel broken. Whatever it is, Nietzsche would tell you something that might shock you. Your weakness isn't a bug, it's a feature. It's not something to eliminate, it's something to transform. Nietzsche believed in something he called amor fati, love of fate. Not passive acceptance, but active embrace of everything that happens to you, including your struggles. He wrote, my formula for greatness in a human being is amor fati. That one wants nothing to be different. Not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. But here's where it gets practical. Nietzsche wasn't talking about toxic positivity or pretending everything is fine. He was talking about something much more powerful. The ability to extract strength from every experience, especially the painful ones. I remember when I first discovered this concept. I was going through the worst period of my life. Lost my job, relationship ended, confidence shattered. I felt like the weakest person alive. But then I started studying Nietzsche's approach to suffering, and everything changed. Which brings us to Nietzsche's most misunderstood concept, one that will completely change how you see your weaknesses. Chapter 2, The Will to Power. The will to power. These 3 words contain the secret to transforming any weakness into strength. But 99% of people completely misunderstand what Nietzsche meant by this. Most people think will to power means dominating others, being aggressive or crushing your competition. They think it's about external power, money, status, control over others. They couldn't be more wrong. Nietzsche's will to power is about one thing: the drive to overcome yourself. It's about becoming who you're capable of becoming, not who others expect you to be. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah was terrified of public speaking. She'd literally get sick before presentations. Her weakness? Crippling social anxiety. But instead of avoiding it, she decided to apply Nietzsche's will to power. She didn't try to eliminate her anxiety. She transformed it. She realized her anxiety meant she cared deeply about doing well. Her sensitivity wasn't weakness. It was heightened awareness. Her fear wasn't cowardice, it was respect for the moment. Here's what Sarah did, and what you can do too. She asked herself Nietzsche's most important question. What would this look like if I were overcoming it rather than avoiding it? I want you to pause this video right now and think about your biggest weakness. Got it? Now ask yourself, what would this weakness look like if it were actually a strength in disguise? Are you too emotional? Maybe you're actually deeply empathetic. Are you too perfectionist? Maybe you have incredibly high standards. Are you too sensitive? Maybe you're highly intuitive. Are you too anxious? Maybe you're highly aware of potential problems. Nietzsche wrote, "You have your way. I have my way. As for the right way, the correct way, and the only way, it does not exist. Your weakness isn't wrong. It's just untransformed energy." Drop a comment below and tell me, what's one weakness you're ready to transform? I read every comment, and I might feature your transformation journey in a future video. The will to power operates on 3 levels, and I'm going to show you exactly how to activate each one. Level 1, power over circumstances. This isn't about controlling what happens to you. It's about controlling how you respond to what happens to you. Level 2, power over self. This is about discipline, but not the kind you think. It's about the discipline to be authentically yourself instead of what others expect. Level 3, power through creation. This is about using your transformed weakness to create something valuable for yourself and others. But before you can activate these levels, you need to understand Nietzsche's most radical idea about human nature. Chapter 3, Beyond Good and Evil. Here's where Nietzsche gets dangerous, in the best possible way. He's about to challenge every assumption you have about right and wrong, good and bad, strong and weak. What if I told you that the reason you can't overcome your weakness is because you're still trapped in other people's definitions of what's good and bad? What if your weakness isn't actually weakness at all, but strength that's been mislabeled by society? Think about this. You're in a meeting, and you have a brilliant idea, but you don't speak up because you're too quiet or too introverted. Society has labeled introversion as weakness, but Nietzsche would ask, says who? Nietzsche's Beyond Good and Evil isn't about becoming immoral. It's about becoming unmoral. It's about creating your own values based on what actually serves your growth, not what society expects. Let me share a story about Marcus. Marcus was always told he was too aggressive in business. He internalized this as weakness, started holding back, and his career stagnated. But when he learned Nietzsche's approach, he realized something powerful. His aggression wasn't weakness, it was misdirected strength. Instead of suppressing it, he transformed it into assertiveness. Instead of being aggressive toward others, he became aggressive toward problems. His weakness became his competitive advantage. Here's the exercise that changed Marcus's life, and it can change yours too. Take your biggest weakness and complete these sentences. Society tells me this is weakness but this trait could be strength if the person I could become by embracing this is... Pause the video and do this exercise right now. Don't just think about it. Actually write it down. The act of writing activates different neural pathways and makes the transformation more likely to stick. Nietzsche believed that morality often comes from weakness, from the inability to create your own values. He wrote, "The individual has always had to struggle not to be overwhelmed by the tribe. If you try it, you will be lonely often and sometimes frightened. But no price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself." In today's world, this is more relevant than ever. Social media tells us how to look. Self-help gurus tell us how to think. Society tells us how to behave. But Nietzsche asks, what would you do if you weren't afraid of other people's opinions? I used to think my tendency to question everything was weakness. Teachers said I was difficult. Bosses said I was not a team player. But Nietzsche helped me realize that my questioning nature wasn't weakness, it was my path to truth. If this resonates with you, I want you to hit that like button right now. It tells me you're ready to go deeper into these concepts. and it helps other people who need this message find this video. But questioning conventional morality is just the beginning. The real transformation happens when you understand Nietzsche's most practical concept. Chapter 4. The Übermensch within. The Übermensch. The Superman. The person who has overcome themselves. This isn't about being better than others. It's about being better than you were yesterday. Let me clear up the biggest misconception about Nietzsche's Übermensch. It's not about being superhuman or superior to others. It's about being superhuman, meaning the best version of what it means to be human. Think of a butterfly. It's not superior to other insects. It's just the fullest expression of what it was meant to become. Your weakness isn't something to kill, it's something to transform. Like a caterpillar transforming into a butterfly. The Übermensch process has 3 stages, and I'm going to show you how to navigate each one. Stage 1, the camel. This is where most people live. The camel carries the burden of society's expectations. It says, I should be stronger. I should be more confident. I should be different. The camel is weighed down by shoulds. I spent years as a camel, carrying everyone else's definition of success. I should make more money. I should be more extroverted. I should be more like that person I admire. And every should made me feel weaker, more inadequate. Stage 2, the lion. The lion says, I will. It destroys the false values and creates space for something new. But the lion can only destroy. It can't create. This is the stage of rebellion, of saying no to what doesn't serve you. When I became the lion, I stopped apologizing for my intensity. I stopped trying to be what others expected. I said no to opportunities that didn't align with my values. But I was still angry, still fighting against things instead of fighting for something. Stage 3, the child. The child says, I am. It creates new values, new possibilities. The child doesn't ask permission to be itself. It simply is. The child stage is where transformation happens. You stop fighting your weakness and start dancing with it. You stop trying to be someone else and start being yourself more fully. Here's how to identify which stage you're in right now. Ask yourself, am I carrying burdens that aren't mine? Camel. Am I fighting against who I used to be? Lion. Am I creating from who I am? Child. To move from weakness to strength, you need to progress through all 3 stages. You can't skip ahead. The camel learns discipline. The lion learns courage. The child learns creativity. Let's say your weakness is procrastination. As a camel, you'd beat yourself up for it. As a lion, you'd rebel against deadlines and structure. As a child, you'd create a system that works with your natural rhythms instead of against them. Nietzsche wrote, one must have chaos within oneself to give birth to a dancing star. Your weakness isn't random. It's the chaos that contains your unique genius. Which stage are you in right now? Drop a comment and let me know. Are you the camel, the lion, or the child? There's no wrong answer, just awareness. But becoming the Übermensch isn't just about personal transformation. It's about something bigger. Chapter 5. Eternal Recurrence. Here's Nietzsche's ultimate test of strength. And it's going to change how you see your weakness forever. He called it eternal recurrence. And it's the most powerful question you'll ever ask yourself. Imagine a demon appeared to you and said, you will live your exact life over and over again, exactly as it is, for eternity. Every pain, every joy, every moment of weakness, every moment of strength, infinite times. Would you curse the demon or would you thank them? This isn't about whether reincarnation is real. This is about whether you're living a life worth repeating. And here's the twist. Your weakness might be the most important part of that life. When I first heard this concept, I was terrified. I thought about all my failures, all my weak moments, all the times I didn't measure up. But then I realized something profound. Those weak moments weren't bugs in my system. They were features. They were the exact experiences I needed to become who I am. Without them, I wouldn't have the compassion, the resilience, the authenticity that defines me. Here's how to use eternal recurrence to transform your weakness. Look at your biggest struggle right now and ask yourself, if I had to experience this exact challenge, Infinite times. How would I want to respond to it? I know a woman named Lisa who struggled with anxiety for years. She hated it, fought it, tried to eliminate it. But when she applied eternal recurrence, she asked herself, if I had to have anxiety forever, how would I want to relate to it? She realized she'd want to be kind to herself. She'd want to use her anxiety as information rather than seeing it as weakness. She'd want to help others who struggle with the same thing. Her weakness became her calling. Nietzsche wrote, "Was that life?" Well then, once more. And this isn't about accepting everything passively. It's about living so fully that you'd willingly do it all again. I want you to try this exercise right now. Think about your weakness, and instead of asking, how do I get rid of this? Ask, how do I live so fully with this that I'd choose it again? Maybe your sensitivity isn't something to toughen up. It's something to honor. Maybe your impatience isn't something to suppress. It's something to channel. Maybe your perfectionism isn't something to cure. It's something to direct. The strongest people aren't those without weaknesses. They're those who've learned to dance with their weaknesses. They've found the gift inside the struggle. I want to hear from you. If you had to live your life exactly as it is right now, infinite times, what would you change? Not to eliminate your challenges, but to respond to them more fully? Share in the comments below. But there's one more piece to this puzzle. One final insight that brings everything together. Chapter 6, the Transformation Protocol. We've covered the philosophy, now let's get practical. Here's your step-by-step protocol for transforming any weakness into strength. Based on everything we've learned from Nietzsche, I call this the power protocol, and it's designed to take you from weakness to strength in a way that's sustainable and authentic. P, perceive differently. Stop seeing your weakness as a flaw and start seeing it as unrefined strength. Your impatience might be passion. Your overthinking might be thoroughness. Your sensitivity might be intuition. O, own your story. Stop apologizing for who you are. Own your complete story, including the parts that feel weak. As Nietzsche said, what does not destroy me makes me stronger. V, will to power. Channel your weakness into purposeful action. Don't suppress it, transform it. Use it as fuel for growth. E, embrace eternal recurrence. Live as if you'd choose this exact experience again. How would you want to respond to your weakness if you had to deal with it forever? Or recreate your values? Go beyond society's definition of good and bad. Create your own values based on what actually serves your growth. Here's exactly how to apply this starting today. Week 1, observe. Notice when you judge your weakness. Write it down. What triggers the negative self-talk? Week 2, reframe. For every weakness you identify, find 3 ways it could be a strength. Force yourself to see the positive potential. Week 3, experiment. Try using your weakness as a strength. If you're impatient, use it to drive urgency. If you're emotional, use it to connect with others. Week 4, integrate. Make your transformed weakness part of your identity. Own it, celebrate it. Let it become part of your unique value proposition. I want to leave you with one final story. There's a Japanese art form called kintsugi, where broken pottery is repaired with gold. The cracks aren't hidden, they're highlighted. The break becomes part of the beauty. That's what Nietzsche teaches us about weakness. Your cracks aren't flaws. They're where the light gets in. They're where your strength emerges. If this video has changed how you see your weakness, I want you to do 3 things right now. First, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. We're building a community of people who refuse to let weakness define them. Second, share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. Someone who's struggling with their own weaknesses and needs to know they're not alone. Third, leave a comment below sharing your biggest takeaway. What weakness are you ready to transform? I read every comment, and your story might inspire someone else. Remember, you have of Nietzsche's wisdom in your mind right now. But wisdom without action is just entertainment. Your weakness is waiting to be transformed. The question is, are you ready to begin? Until next time, remember, you are not your weakness. You are not your strength. You are your capacity to transform one into the other.